Hello everyone and welcome back to my podcast. This is Straight White Whale. We are churning them out and it's going well. Before I get into it, I want to thank Merchant City Medical for sponsoring the podcast. We do sponsorships in blocks, so this is the last time that they're sponsoring the podcast. So thank you very much, troops. Merchant City Medical is a place that you can go and get cosmetic procedures done. You can get liposuction, Botox, you can get fillers, and you can get hair transplants. I get a hair transplant there, as you will probably know. If you're like me, a kind of middle-aged young guy that's, lost your hair through stress, or you've just went naturally bald, get in touch with Merchant City Medical. The guy's name's Paul. He's a good guy. I'm not earning money for this. They're covering costs for the podcast, so it's not like a weird pyramid scheme or something. I got a product off them. I'm happy with the product, and I'm telling you, if you want it done, go and get it done. So Merchant City Medical, it will pop up on the screen, getting about it. And you can even get an injection into your banger, Paul, for better erections.
Does it make your bobby bigger?
I don't know, because I never got it done, but I hope no.
They can't perform miracles. They can make it harder, but they can't make it bigger.
Aye. They don't do anything about micro penises, I'm afraid.
That's me scuppered. Can they do anything to, stop you from shitting your pants? Like, I get so many messages, mate, about shitting myself, like last week's
that story?
Aye, mate.
Aye.
Try to shame me. I've got no shame, mate.
I respect you, though.
It happens to us all.
Here, I trust cunts that talk openly and honestly about that stuff. See, when somebody that I don't really know tells me a story about them shitting their pants, I'm like, I could fight with him he's beside me in the trenches, man. I trust that cunt. So, what's this, episode 12, I think?
I think so, mate. Aye.
Right, okay. How have you been, Paul? How's your week?
I've been good, mate. I've been very good. I did the Bams to the Slaughter event on Friday night for the Bold Ravy Davy, TikTok extraordinaire.
Yes.
Down at the Fairfield in Govan. It was an experience, but I have been busy. But loving the reactions to the podcast, as I was saying to you the other day in voice notes. We should really promote this podcast.
Yeah. If there's anything funny today, let's clip it up and we'll start doing that shit. Because I'm surprised with it. I'm not surprised because we've been working hard, but it is nice to get some positive feedback. Even last night, I did a gig last night, and as I was sitting in the crowd, there was a few Twitter followers there.
Right.
And they were like, "We're loving the podcast, man." And I'm like, no way. You just come here and you sit and you talk shite for like an hour and you don't expect people to say it. But I've started promoting it at gigs as well. When I finish the gig on stage, I say, listen to my podcast.
Oh, superb, mate. Love that.
I think it's doing well, mate.
Do you find that strange, meeting Twitter followers?
It was weird because there was a girl there with a boyfriend last night, and I was like, I know her face. And
was it a good wank?
I can't remember her name. She was a good lassie.
But what was weird about it?
Just because I was like, who is that? And then I was like, no way, that's Twitter. Because she was Twitter.
Right.
And a journalist guy was there for Twitter.
Right. I find it quite strange. I mean, I don't have the following that you do. I'm not you're a celebrity, I would say. A local celebrity.
Z-list
Glasgow celebrity.
Yeah. Like Screech. I'm the Scottish Screech.
Mate, I'd take that, man.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Saved by the Bell, mate. I fucking love that shit. But I don't have a following, so I don't really get it that often. But sometimes I do get it. I find it quite strange meeting people that, especially people that you've spoke to on the internet, like you have like a bit of an interaction. I've seen a couple of people and they've done that awkward stare straight ahead. Like you're like, you fucking spoke to me, just be like, all right, big man, there's nothing that weird about it, is there? One of them is, I'm going to out him, one of them is that Fitzy.
Aye.
And he comes in here and does the podcast now, and I've never actually spoke to him and about this, but there was one time maybe about 4 years ago, I was walking down Suckhill Street, he was walking up Suckhill Street, and he was looking, he had that pure, what's that called, 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
That he was deliberately trying not to look at me. It was like a pure intense. Don't look at him. Don't look at him.
For people that are listening, Fitzy's a Scottish guy that does a podcast as well, just in case anybody's wondering. But I've seen that as well. I've been in Tesco and stuff. No, even with Twitter followers, but I've like people that I've worked with or people that I've seen in school. I've noticed that a few times, and I'm like, but I take that as a proper insult though. Like a few times I've been standing there in my head, like, are they fucking serious? So I've unfriended people over that shit, mate.
Oh really?
Aye.
What upsets you about that?
I'm just like, it's so comical. I'm like, why are you 1,000 yards staring me? It's so blatant that I'm here. Just give a fucking nod. Do you know what I mean?
I think
you're staring ahead, no blinking, you cunt.
I think that people get that social anxiety. I don't think it's you, it's them. I think that when they do that, it's more of a, am I going to need to stop and talk to this guy? No realising that you can go, all right, Darren, and you'll just be like, all right, pal, and you'll just walk away. You don't need to stand and, connect.
Don't get me wrong, I judge it by each situation. If I know the person is quite timid and stuff, it's cool. But if it's somebody that's like a mate or somebody that I know, I'm like, that's you're different. Gone, you can't.
Aye, that's different. Do you want a cautionary tale? I went into Tesco. This was years ago when Facebook first launched, maybe after 2 or 3 years after Facebook first launched. And I seen a guy and I was like, oh, I went to school with that guy. And I was like, all right, mate. And he just looked at me like I was a fucking idiot. And I realised that it was somebody that I went to school with boyfriend.
Oh, no way.
And I had seen so many photos of him on Facebook that I felt like I fucking knew the cunt. I'm like, all right, I'm sure I said his name as well. I'm sure I was like, all right, Stephen. And the guy's like, who the fuck is that? Like,
Aye.
Shit.
I got that last night with the girl for Twitter, mate. I got that for her boyfriend. The boyfriend doesn't, I don't know if the boyfriend's got social media, but every post she puts up is pictures of her dog or pictures of her boyfriend. Right. I was like, all right, mate. And I was like, I don't think I actually know him. But he was, I mean, don't get me wrong, he was brand new. He loved the gig and stuff. So.
Probably when he fucking had a wank. But Darren Connell said all right to me.
The Scottish Screech said all right to me. I got that with a taxi driver as well. Anytime I wear glasses, mate, I get spotted. See, as soon as I'm wearing my contact lenses, nobody knows who I'm.
There's Robbie.
Aye. The taxi driver's like, so what do you do as a job? And I was like, I used to be self-employed, but now I'm kind of just trying to ease back into things. And he's like, Bobby! So there you go.
Thunder cunt.
Aye. Thunder cunt?
Aye. You never heard that before?
No.
Just a great insult. To call every taxi driver that you ever get to meet a thunder cunt.
At least he wasn't saying horrible, racist and homophobic jokes. That's normally the black cab taxi drivers.
I'm not racist, but...
You do the comedy, son? What about this one? 2 black guys and a Jew walk into a bar and you're like, no. Oh, here. See fucking Whoopi Goldberg get cancelled?
No.
Oh, a couple of days ago, I love Ghost, right? Patrick Swayze, what a fucking film, man. Amazing film. I'm obsessed with the film for some reason. Always reference it. See the goblins that come out of hell and grab the baddies in, drag them to hell and all that. I love that shit, right?
Aye, traumatising though as a Wayne, watching that shit.
See the cunt on the train and all? Get off my train. I love that guy. I want to be pals with him.
Right. He's a legendary actor, that guy, isn't he?
One of these cunts that have got like 100 credits. And it's all weird characters. Right. So anyway, I was watching Ghost the other night and I said, Whoopi Goldberg is sexy as fuck in Ghost. There's a couple, see when she was younger, I thought she was a bit of a babe, right?
Right, did you?
Aye. And
nice.
Fuck it, man, I'm greedy. I'm a greedy boy.
Bit of Whoopi.
So, I was like, Whoopi Goldberg, man, sexy as fuck. And literally, maybe 14 hours later, she was on The View and she said, she basically rubbished fucking 6 million Jews died with the Nazis.
Holocaust?
Yeah.
She rubbished the Holocaust?
She was saying that it was getting nothing to do with race or Jews. Something along those lines, right?
Okay.
You'll need to check this on your phone for me.
Right, go on.
So she basically said it's got nothing to do with Jews. It was bad-natured people like the Nazis, and everybody in The View was like, "No, it's got to do with Jewish people. It is Jewish people. It's anti-Jews and it's racism. And she's
Right.
like, no, it's not. But she released
The
a
Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race. Yeah, so, she said, but it's about white supremacy. It's not about the Jews and the gypsies. So so basically what they're saying is, but if it's, yeah, she's right. They're bad people.
Mhm.
Okay. They're bad people that hated people because of their race.
Yeah.
Like, how can you say that the propaganda that went about in Nazi Germany and the clear hatred for Jewish people, 6 million of them died. What was that about then?
Yeah.
What was it about? Like, that's weird.
It's weird, isn't it? She came out and she apologised and she said it should have been both, but I just found that quite comical how I was like, she's sexy as fuck, man, and then I picked up Twitter the next day and I was like, what?
She's pure cancelled. You're like the pure you mentioned Betty White. You mentioned Whoopi Goldberg. Who's next, mate? Don't tag me in a tweet.
I know, man.
I'm fucking touch wood, But fuck's sake, mate. I mean, I'm still a wee bit perplexed as to how you find Whoopi Goldberg sexy.
I mean, obviously she's an old woman now, but
Even back then, I mean, and also, mate, you do realise that, what was her character's name in Ghost?
don't know.
No, fuck. She would be called water therapy. She'd be charging cunts to go up to fucking the Hudson, New York or whatever and take a dip.
How?
Because it was all new age shit. She
Oh,
was like
no
a
way.
mystic, wasn't she? She was a psychic, a medium, like all that sort of stuff. Mate, Ghost was. Do you remember when you were? See, when I was a wee guy, underneath the TV cabinet sat
Oda Mae.
Oda Mae Brown.
Sorry
that's
for
right.
cutting in
No,
there,
not
sorry.
at all, mate. Underneath the TV cabinet sat all the VHSs. Were you the same? You're a wee guy. We had like 20 videos that get played on repeat, and Ghost was one of them. So I know that movie inside fucking out.
Yeah.
Although I was just about to say I could almost tell you the code for the bank account that the cunt steals, but I couldn't do that. But
That's how many times you've seen it.
aye, mate.
Well,
it's a great movie though. It really is.
Because she used to do stand-up comedy, so see if maybe there's a picture of her online. I think she might have been 21 or something. See, when she's that age, 21 to like
Jumping Jack Flash sort of time.
Yeah, I thought she was a babe,
Right.
and I'll die in that hole.
Well, go in that hole.
Hole
On that hole. I'll die in that hole like that.
Darren, you're right.
That's the best way to go. But what's your favourite Whoopi Goldberg movie then?
I tell you what, I'll need to Google this, right? So I think it's pretty common knowledge that Whoopi Goldberg has went down the odd path recently. She seems like a person that's probably been in Hollywood too long. Her head's fucking fried a wee bit, and I can't remember the last good film that she done. But I'll tell you this fucking hilarious movie that she's done, right? It was with Charlie Sheen, and it was a 9/11 movie, right?
What?
And it
Charlie
was-
Sheen and Whoopi Goldberg were in a movie about 9/11?
Yup. And it was only out in 2017.
Oh, mate.
It's called 9/11, right?
I remember this.
Aye. And I'm trying not to bastardise this, right? But it is like Whoopi Goldberg stood up on the set of The View with her clothes on, right? Her normal clothes, and walked onto this fucking film set and just done a film with Charlie Sheen about 9/11. Now, I'll watch anything. I love movies. I love films. That's my shit.
Right.
And I'm sitting there thinking, what the fuck is this? Because Charlie Sheen even looks at his box as well. It's got a 20% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 4.3 out of 10
IMDb.
view. Basically, it was done by a director called Martin Gully, I think. He is... God, what is he? 2 seconds. basically he was a guy that got his first big break in Hollywood, and he was obsessed with, I want Charlie Sheen and I want Whoopi Goldberg. So I think in his mind he's thinking 30 years ago.
I was going to say, in his mind it's 1995.
Aye, because Charlie Sheen before he was fucked
Hot
was
Shots.
amazing.
Hot Shots, mate. Hot Shots Part 2 is one of the funniest movies I think ever created, and I really liked Charlie Sheen. I love Wall Street's a great movie,
Amazing.
unbelievable. And then that's serious, and then the Hot Shots. I mean, the bit in Hot Shots where they're doing the Rambo thing, they're wrapping his hands, and then they go and it's like the toffee, and it's like the fucking M&M's, not mate.
Yep.
Parody. Where have they parodied? Where are the parody movies? Where's Naked Gun? Hot Shots. There was like this real time in the 90s where all these parody movies were fucking amazing. But tell me the premise of this story. Spoiler it. Fuck it.
Right,
Cunt's only going to watch it. Let me hear what happens in this fucking movie.
And see if you do watch it, smoke a joint, close your curtains, and get airplane mode on in your mobile phone, and you'll be like, wow. On the morning of 9/11, a messenger sings happy birthday to his daughter. A billionaire argues with his wife in a divorce hearing. A maintenance man begins his day, and a young Russian, why the fuck is a Russian in this, decides she's breaking up with her sugar daddy. Okay. When the first plane hits the World Trade Center, these 5 elevator passengers find themselves trapped. Forced to band together, they fight against all odds to escape before it happens.
Right.
Now, there's a scene in it, right? I'm not even going to say spoiler alert. This is why you should watch this. The cable in the elevator snaps, and Whoopi Goldberg and Charlie Sheen is in this lift, right? So see, as the elevator is falling to the ground at God knows what speed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think this is what happened, because I've not seen it in years, right? Charlie Sheen tells Whoopi to jump with him. So as it's falling to the ground, Charlie does this Mission Impossible thing, right?
Is he floating in midair?
He's floating in the
zero gravity.
Right, and it's him and Whoopi Goldberg holding hands together, fucking going against zero gravity in this elevator. And at that point, I was like, no!
Well, apart from the fact that because of the weight of the lift and how we're absolutely nowhere near as heavy, if the lift was to fall, you would just hit the roof.
Yeah.
You would be glued to the roof until it hits the grunt, and then you would turn into liquid as you like hit the fucking floor. But he was like floating in midair, like they were in some sort of like zero gravity thing in an airplane, like controlled falling. And then he said, jump. How do you jump when you're floating in midair?
And plus, he looks like he's got a mixture between having a come down, chain smoking. He's got fucking cocaine sweat coming off his
hepatitis, AIDS. He's got everything, mate.
Mate, what is happening here? But
so basically, this guy spent all the money on the actors and had to shoot this full movie in a lift so that it could pretend that it... How many floors up in the World Trade Center?
Do you know, I can't really remember much, but I remember...
I'm going to watch this, mate.
You ever watch a shit film, right? I copy and pasted the internet movie database link, and I just chain messaged it to everybody, like, you need to watch this fucking film. I can't believe how shit it is. Right. It's just mental how shit it is.
What is your best, worst movie? Do you want me to tell you about mine while you have a think?
Yeah.
When I was a wee guy, I went to Butlins, right? Is that Craig Tara?
I'm not too sure.
Whatever, Butlins down at and we went into the town centre and we went to WH Smith, and they had like a pure 99p basket for old videotapes, and there was a videotape in it called The Outlaw of Gore.
Oh my God.
Right? And it's about this sort of young... Like, he's supposed to be sort of preppy, geeky school teacher who finds a ring. If I remember rightly, somebody dies, like a grandparent dies and leaves him a ring. And he's driving in his car and it's in a thunderstorm, and the ring starts to light up, and basically gets transported back to this other dimension that's kind of like Conan.
Yeah.
And a very, very drunk Oliver Reed is like the king of this dimension, and this guy needs to like find his courage to like overthrow this guy, but he takes his clothes off and he's a tank. It's like you can tell from the start scene as an adult. I remember going back and watching it on cinema, like the cinema up in the Fire Stick, and sort of going, I can't believe when I watched this as a wee guy, I kind of believed that this guy was like geeky, because I can clearly tell that he's just got a pair of glasses on. Like he's a fucking tank underneath that thing, But it's called The Outlaw of Gore, and they've clearly like shot it on the set of like Life of Brian or something that's like terrible. But the funniest thing about it is how fucking really terrible Oliver Reed is in this movie, and how fucking piss drunk he is all the way through it. He's just sort of looking glazed over, like just sort of sitting on a horse, pure
improvising, probably.
Kind of like what he was in. What was the one that he died?
Gladiator.
See the way that he is in that, sort of like a pish guy at a bar trying to be serious, like when a junkie tries to be serious, and you can pure spot it a mile away.
What was that film called again?
The Outlaw of Gore.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So
Let's compare how much how bad IMDb thinks it is, right, versus your one. So what was the 9/11 rating? 5.8, did you say?
4.3.
Oh fuck.
And it get 20% on Rotten Tomatoes.
The Outlaw of Gore. Oh, it's not even coming up. Oh, there it is there. Outlaw of Gore. Later. Stop trying to update my fucking phone. Oh, no way. Thingy's in it as well. Jack Palance.
Who's that again? Oh, mate, I can't see that.
No, he was the other bad guy in the first Batman movie. No, Jack Nicholson, like the head gangster.
Oh, no way.
Jack Palance. He was in it. But 2.3 out of 10.
I can't believe that.
2.3 out of 10, mate.
You need to send me that.
Oh my fucking God. It is directed by John Bud Cardos. Right, and it's based on a novel. Let's read it. Right. An Earthman returns to the planet Gore and fights against tyranny. Better known as Outlaw to those of you that watched the TV show Mystery Science Theater 3000. Okay.
I love that.
Okay, so it must have been a bit in that, and then they've made it into a movie. It's about a beefy blonde. Hello. And his oily friend.
What?
Watney. They are teleported by a rose quartz ring. Yes.
Oh my God.
Because the Elder, who has no name, just called the Elder, thinks that Zeno the priest is clearly a drunk Jack Palance. So Oliver Reed must not be in this. Wait a minute. I've replaced fucking Jack Palance with Oliver Reed. I don't know how I've done that.
How the mind works.
Absolutely. Cabot, where does that come from? Cares nothing for such intrigue, just the princess, as he remarks, ooh la la.
Oh my God.
What the fuck? The Elder is off though. It's the queen who wants the throne for her own. Naturally, Wanty is seduced by the queen to implement Cabot for the murder of the king. I don't remember any of this, mate. I just remember the guy's got glasses, his ring takes him back, he punches fuck out somebody, and he goes back to his own time and gets the bird in like the own time. Like the whole premise of the thing is he's trying to get this woman, she doesn't like him, he goes away, he comes back, he's no get his glasses, he's built like a tank, and she wants him again.
Yeah.
2.3 out of 10 on IMDb, mate.
I wonder what the worst rated film is.
I'm sure we'll be able to find out.
I really struggle. You know how people love The Room? Have you ever watched The Room?
I have not, mate, no.
That's probably been voted one of the greatest films of all time, but it's like really shit. And people watch it ironically and they cheered you on it and stuff. I can't do it, mate.
The Room?
I'll double check.
We need to check out. What do you make of the Pamela Anderson, Tommy Lee biopic?
Do you know, I'm not a fan of them, right? But see, looking at the posters, I'm like, that it looks good, man.
They look exactly like them,
yeah.
Don't they, mate? Why do you not like the bold Pammy and Tom?
I don't know, it's just not my cup of tea. Like, I'm sure it will be good, whoever plays them. But The Room is a 2003 film, right? It's a romance drama. It's no way. 3.7 out of 10. 9%, 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think I'm dyslexic, man. The director's a guy called Tommy Wiseau.
Right.
Wiseau.
Wasu.
Um, they remade the film The Room, and it's called The Disaster Artist, and it's James Franco and Dave Franco and Seth Rogen and Zac Efron's in it, right? But The
Right.
Room is this weird guy. He says he's American, but he's not American. He's got a fucking Romanian accent.
Right.
The Room is a 2003 American independent drama film written, produced, and directed by Tommy Wiseau. It's a feature-length film, right? He's made himself the main character.
Who has?
Tommy Wiseau. He's like
Okay.
a guy with a fucking six-pack. He's got long black jet dyed hair. He's the type of guy that will be like, I don't dye my hair. I think
Right.
he said he was from Alabama or something.
Right.
And during this film, you're just like, this guy, how's he getting so much money for this film? So I think he's like a millionaire from Romania that's just appeared in America. And even when I think James Franco won an award for playing him in The Disaster Artist,
Right.
and Tommy went to talk into the mic, and they're like, you're not even allowed to speak into the mic.
Wow.
So, but there's like really long, obviously he's made himself the love interest. So there's this scene in the room
Right.
that he's having sex with somebody, and I swear to God, man, it is like
Fuck.
a 20-minute long sex scene, and it is so cringe and embarrassing that I don't even know why the cunt's not being
That's creepy, man. Cancelled?
cancelled. Have you never heard it then?
No, mate.
Mate, it's like one of those ones, see any time it's shown at the cinema, it will sell it, and people just go and laugh at how shit it is.
Right. So bad it's good almost.
Aye.
Right.
But I don't agree with that. I think
just
it's
like
shit.
it's just terrible.
But The Disaster Artist is good. But you're saying, what's the best, worst kind of film you like? I know it's a comedy and it is really funny. It's called Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Superb, mate.
Yeah.
Weird Al Yankovic, is it, that wrote that?
No,
No?
nope.
What was the one? Oh, no, sorry. What was the one he did?
I'm not too sure.
Right. Sorry.
Could you check that though?
Aye.
Because I'd be interested.
Right. Tell me about Kung Pao Enter the Fist, because
Right.
it's a fucking classic, mate. It's
So-
an absolute classic.
Kung Pao Enter the Fist is this guy. I'll just double check. I don't want to ruin it.
Is it no that... Oh, fuck, man. Is it no the dude that played fucking Thingamy in Wayne's World that's in Kung Pao?
Steve Oderick. That's the director and the writer.
Right.
A very, very well respected and talented stand up comedian and writer in America that seems to have, he's not really made it.
Is
Right?
another one that he's made himself the main character?
Aye.
He's the chosen one?
So,
What's
but
up with these cunts?
I think he wrote like Yes Man, and he's done a lot of stuff on Jim Carrey.
Right, okay.
He seems to be the go-to guy. He also wrote Nothing to Lose with Martin Lawrence.
Right, aye.
Really? Do you remember Nothing
Aye,
to
I
Lose?
remember Nothing to Lose.
Do you remember a scene in it when they're robbing the safe and they're hiding under a desk? See the security guard, when the radio breaks, the security guard starts dancing to the radio.
Aye.
That's him.
Right, okay.
So, I mean, people love him, mate, but I don't know why he's not like massive. So anyway, Kung Pao is this guy. He's took, say, 100 old school Japanese Asian films that are all karate, and he's edited them all together, right? And then he's placed himself as the main character in amongst all these old school Asian films. It is just so fucking silly and stupid. I watched it recently, and there's parts of it you're like, oh, the graphics are terrible and
right,
stuff.
aye.
But it's funny as fuck, mate.
Aye.
It's just hilarious. What do you remember it?
I remember the bit where he's got the fucking, like, the beaver nunchucks.
Aye.
And it's just taking the piss out of Bruce Lee and all that sort of, like, that these things that take themselves seriously, but they're almost like parody themselves when you watch back at them.
Aye. So his voice is dubbed.
That's right.
Very, very funny, man.
That's in that sort of, I think, I've got a few movies at that time, and one of them's that UHF. That's the Weird Al Yankovic. See if you've not seen that. It's it's terrible, but it's funny. You know what I mean? Like it's in that sort of like so bad it's good. UHF it's called. It's like basically like Weird Al Yankovic, and there's just mental shit happens. Just kind of like, you know, zany, you know, like that type of thing. I would put in Naked Gun, the second Naked Gun movie into that. That was one of my sort of like with that, and things like The Toxic Avenger.
Aye.
Even early horror movies like Swamp Thing and shit like that, where you're just kind of like, this is so terrible.
Toxic Avenger's a good one. I loved a horror called Basket Case.
Oh, Basket Case, a classic, mate. Is that no Peter Jackson?
No, that is
Bad Taste.
Bad Taste.
Get all these mixed up, mate.
I've changed my opinion on Bad Taste. I remember watching it when I was younger and I thought it was shit.
Right.
I watched that again recently and I was like, nah, I liked it.
It's a classic, mate.
Yeah. Same with like Brain Damage and all that.
100%. Reanimator.
Yes.
Fuck, mate. Pet Sematary. Well, I loved all these when I was a wee guy,
that as
mate.
well.
I loved
See
all
the second Pet Sematary, that's a belter and all.
I've only ever seen it a couple of times when I was younger, but I remember like loving the second one as well as the first one. And then Evil Dead, like you bring all of these like sort of classic horror B movies into it, mate. They're lost, mate. I think they're gone forever.
Yeah.
Like even when we were well, when I'm older than you, but when I was young, VHS would just kick about. People would be like, "Oh, have you seen this?" It's gone now, mate.
Yeah.
Like if it's not on Netflix, and even still, good movies like that go into Netflix and just get lost in the mirage of fucking shite that's on there. You know, people don't. The reason that I loved like Toxic Avenger, like I'll tell you my thing, right? I had my own VHS collection. It was about 10 strong, right? Wait till you hear this eclectic collection. There was the 3 original Star Wars movies, because I'm obsessed with Star Wars. That's why there's a Star Wars Blu-ray box set in the background on the shelf.
Amazing.
I'm obsessed with the original trilogy of Star Wars. The rest of it, I can take it or leave it. But the original trilogy, that, then I had Maestro, the Paul McStay documentary, Toy Story, Lady and the Tramp, Naked Gun 2, was it 2.5? Naked Gun 2.5. Fuck, man, I'm starting to get Connell.
Amazing.
Evil Dead, Toxic Avenger, and I'm missing one more. I had the first Turtles movie. See that collection of like videos that I had, I watched all of them at least 20, 30 times. And I think that's when you actually love something. See the way like you watch your favourite movie, and there's bits of it that you know that nobody else even fucking notices. You're obsessed with it. You're like pure, I find this wee tiny bit hilarious. Like, see, sometimes, mate, I watch a movie and I find the way somebody's face is, like my missus does on that when I'm like rewinding it, howling, going, wait, look at his face when he says this word. And I find it fucking hilarious. And I think that's lost now because there's so much choice. People watch something once, maybe twice, and then that's it.
It's gone.
It's gone. You don't get pure obsessed with movies.
Because I've noticed that, I don't know if it's the way that cameras were made back in the day, but see when you watched a VHS film, see the kind of cinematography, I've noticed that that's different for a horror film. Like, so Pet Sematary is very much get its own look and style and colour. You know, I'm not even talking about story, I'm talking about visually.
Aye.
It's visually different and it looks beautiful and it's odd and everything's so like crisp and clear and you know, there's just something I think there's something missing from modern day film.
See, what's Christopher Nolan has made popular this sort of like dreek, dull, like the way Inception or the Batman, that Batman trilogy that he did. Everybody's just copied and pasted that. It's the same with the soundscaping, the pure boom, like no like music, but just like noises happening. Everybody's just kind of done that. It's really cool. And the first time that I've seen a Christopher Nolan movie, you're like, that looks and sounds incredible. But it kind of, that feels like people have just went, I want to do that. So every movie now will have the Blackmagic 6K cameras and it'll look like a Christopher Nolan thing. And I'm with you, mate. Everything's just very generic.
Yeah.
Looks the same, sounds the same. But TV's different now. Stranger Things has got it saying style, and it's saying, you know what I mean? I think TV's took over for that, like, real artistic expression, and now everything's just a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It's like a movie, you know
Which
what I mean?
I find quite boring. I'd still go and watch them, but it's getting boring. I just finished Ozark the other night.
Is
Four
that 4 seasons?
Four
Right.
seasons, very, very good. Really good. There's a guy in it called Kevin L. Johnson. I think I've told you this. He's a smaller part in Ozark. One of the smaller characters in it. But he was on my first podcast that I done at the start of lockdown. I did 10 podcasts in the house, and he came on as a guest.
Through Zoom?
Aye, through Zoom. I think he thought I was like
a big time podcaster.
Aye.
You're like pure.
So he's like,
Bobby for Scott Squad, sending him your press shots and all that.
Like, what? Scott Squad? And he was saying, do you know Peter Mullen? I was like, no, but I know his brother.
I seen Peter Mullen walking down Sauchiehall Street the other day, mate.
Aye,
mate. And I didn't have the balls to go up to him, which is usually strange for me. Usually I would just be pure. Like one time I seen Chick Young in Millport, and I was walking by him. I was with my missus, and I just went, Chick, high five, and he high fived me. My missus was pure, do you know him? And I was like, Chick Young. She was like, who's Chick Young?
And he high fived you?
I fucking high five me.
Lad.
Legend. There's one time somebody called bullshitting on Twitter with us, where somebody had said such and such. It was a guy who played for Celtic, Josh something. He was like a young player. And
Thompson.
Well remembered, mate. And I was on a flight back from Birmingham for Virgin Media or London, and I sat next to him and I spoke to him, and he was give me an update on his injury, and I seen somebody tweeting on Twitter, such and such, oh, he's gone about for a while. And I said to him, well, I sat next to him on a flight and spoke away to the boy. He was just like, I'm a Celtic fan, you're doing well, whatever. And he said that his recovery's gone well and he should be a couple of weeks. And they were basically like, you talk so much shit. And I was like, no, I'm being serious. And the guy's like, who has the confidence to just talk to somebody like that on a plane? I was like,
aye,
me. Sorry, I talk to strangers. If I was sitting myself on a flight, I would talk to a stranger. But I usually have a bit of confidence. Like I seen Tom Rogic at the end of last season up at Kelvin Grove Park, and he was on crutches, and I went up to him because I thought he was going to leave, and I was like, listen Tom, kept my distance, went, listen Tom mate, we've had a terrible year. What I want you to know, like, I'll always remember that Hampden, that goal against Aberdeen, and you're a legend, mate, whatever happens during the summer. And he was like, thanks very much, mate. But for some reason I seen Peter Mullen, I think he had his hood up. He seemed a bit like, I see Frankie Boyle a lot, I don't talk to him.
Yeah.
So he seemed a bit like trying to hide himself away, and I think if you see that,
you could get it, get the vibes.
Maybe I got the vibe. Don't
I've
go
had
near
that
him.
with Frankie Boyle once. I don't know if I'm repeating myself on this podcast, but I did stand up one night with Frankie at Red Raw in Glasgow. I was comparing it, and I introduced him to the stage,
Right.
talking away about five-a-sides and just having a laugh and all that. And then I went to the cinema the next day, and he walked past us in the cinema, and I was like, all right, mate. And he'd done that and walked away. I was
Didn't he
like, what
recognise
the
you?
fuck? I'd like to think he never recognised me,
Aye.
but if he did recognise me, I was like, all right.
Nice one, Frankie. He's a strange one, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I won't get into it too much. He's very funny.
He's
I
hilarious.
don't want to cancel
Oh
myself.
no, he's hilariously funny. He's a great comedian, but I find his public persona slightly strange. I find it, as much as I don't agree that, you know, blah blah blah, but if you pursue celebrity, it's kind of like a coal miner going down and going, I don't like coughing.
Yeah.
And it's like you kind of signed up to that. Like and when
He
he's-
wouldn't be giving you a high five.
He'd probably try and punch you in the face, but I'd fucking give him one back.
Yeah.
No, Frankie Boyle's like an absolute Glasgow, Scotland, British comedy legend, mate, and I love his stand-up.
Yeah.
But I just always find it strange where people pursue fame and then get it and go, don't come up to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Each to their own. I'm no slagging the guy, but I find it quite perplexing when it's like, I don't want attention.
Yeah.
Why are you a comedian then? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
go and write jokes for other people. If you don't want to be the public face yet, like,
Or
for
go and
fuck's
just
sake.
get a fucking normal job. But
Aye.
Peter Mullen, man, I love Peter Mullen. It's always something been in the back of my head. See his style of film. I would love to make a film like that.
Uh-huh.
Just raw, dark, such a talented guy. I remember I get nominated for it was a Scottish New Talent BAFTA
Did you, mate?
years ago. When I first started doing Scot Squad, it was
Superb.
like Darren, Connell. I get nominated. We went there, and I think whoever won got a part in one of these films, and I never won. And the part was only it was one line in one of these films, right? And I was fucking devastated.
Gutted, mate. Aye, I'd be gutted.
Because he wasn't there, and I wanted the chance to speak to him, and I've never met him, but he is, if anybody says, like, who's your hero? Peter Mullen.
What's your favourite role?
Do you know, I loved, it's really, really, really grim though, Tyrannosaur. You seen that?
No.
Really grim.
Right.
I think he directed it. I'm just going to do a quick Google search. There's an all-star cast as well. You'll know her name. I think she's won an Oscar.
Right.
How the fuck do you spell Tyrannosaur?
Just put Peter Mullen on the IMDb, mate. Is it Tyrannosaur as in Tyrannosaurus Rex?
I don't know, because I'm dyslexic.
Red group. Peter Mullen.
I mean, I loved Ned's as well, but that's only a film that I can watch once as well.
Aye, I think mine's his Mother Superior. I think he's not in Trainspotting a lot, but it's a unforgettable part.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that flat, mate, I'd been in so many flats like that back in Carn time, man. See Mother Superior's flat in Trainspotting.
Aye.
I'd been in a few of them, mate.
Fuck, he was in Ozark as well.
Aye, mate.
Peter Mullen.
He was a bad guy, or he was like the gangster guy, went to season 1. I've only ever watched season 1 and 2. He's in Westworld as well, man. He's in demand.
We'll go back to you being in flats like that in a minute, right? But
okay.
there's another great film he's in. It's called Hector. Hector has been living on the motorway for years. He's homeless, and it's about a homeless Scottish guy in England. Very, very good. Sunshine and Leaf. Fucking hell. Well done, son. Tyrannosaur. 2011. Director was Paddy Considine.
Who's he?
Paddy Considine, the guy in Dead Man's Shoes, the main actor in it.
The guy that plays the guy that comes back for the... Right, is that his name? Right.
Considine.
What? Constantine?
Is it?
I don't know, mate.
Paddy. I think the both of us are dyslexic.
I'm dyslexic, mate.
Are you?
Aye, mate. I get diagnosed with dyslexia in uni.
Fucking hell.
I went through school thinking I was an idiot.
Right, so Paddy wrote it and he directed it.
Paddy.
I know, I'm
Paddy
talking.
Constantine.
He's my best mate. The story of Joseph, a man plagued by violence and a rage that is driving him to self-destruction. Joseph's life spirals into turmoil. A chance at redemption appears in the form of Hannah. So Hannah's in a relationship with her husband. Her husband is a violent domestic abuser, right?
Right, okay.
She snaps and has a mental breakdown, and Peter Mullen's character's in between it. I don't want to spoil it, right? But the actress, where is she? It is Olivia Colman.
Oh, right. Aye, she's a fucking badass.
So, all-star fucking film cast, but that's my type of shit. That
right.
If anybody knows Peter Mullen and is listening to this, can you tell him that I love him?
Aye.
I love him.
So back to the crack dens in East End of Glasgow.
Aye. Have you ever been in a crack den?
Well, I've been in heroin dens.
Have you?
Aye, for sure, mate.
Have you ever took heroin?
No, mate.
Have you been offered it?
No, I don't think so. Technically, I probably have inhaled, like, used to go up the closes and you would smell like death, and there would be cunts tooting smack.
Aye.
Smoking smack off a tinfoil. There was one time I was in a car. Me and my brother-in-law used to do deliveries, and there was a guy used to hang about, and he was a notorious sort of... He was a nice guy. He wasn't a bad guy. Like, he wasn't like stabbing anybody, mugging anybody, but he wanted a lift up to Royston or whatever, and we stopped at the Esso garage, and they started tooting smack in the back of the motor, and I like jumped out the motor, and I felt a bit sick and stuff. So I probably have inadvertently inhaled.
Was it a
fumes.
smell? Was it like a disinfectant kind of smell?
genuinely, mate, it sent the smell sent every fucking warning receptor in my body off. It made me go run. Like, it genuinely did smell like death, man. It smelled like somebody was dying. It was like a horrible chemically fucking like
ammonia,
something like that, mate. I just, everything in my body went and I just jumped out the motor. My brother-in-law came back out and dragged him out the motor. But I so probably have inadvertently. But the one story that I do have about was a guy that I hung about with, and I think I was too young to really know that his mum and dad were heroin addicts. They were that age, maybe about, well, where was I? I was in the high end of Carlton, so it was before I moved when I was 9, so it was pre 9-year-old. So it was like a wee boy, you know, you're kind of like stupid, don't really know what's going on. And he was like, do you want to come up? His grandpa stayed with him, and his grandpa flew doos out his window. So he had the doos in cages under the bed.
A doo hut.
Aye, mate, doos. You ever seen them doing the call?
Aye.
So his grandpa had like a doos. So he was like, do you want to come up and see the pigeons? And you're a wee guy, like, aye, all right. And went in, and there was no carpets. It was like bare floorboards. There was like shit everywhere.
Wow.
It was one of the houses where if he was like, do you want a drink? You'd be like, nah, I'm all right. And there was beans oil the flare. Like, he's clearly no cleaning up and cooking. But when we were in the house, the police raided the house.
Wow.
And there was a toddler. And I remember, now, I'm not going to say names, right? Just nobody's got to fucking listen to this anyway. They're probably
Don't say
fucking
names,
deed. But
none of them have got phones.
I remember, fuck's sake, classism from Darren.
Sorry,
Connell.
I'm kidding.
Put that in the Daily Record. I remember stuff getting stuffed down this toddler's nappy. That's my memory. As going into the house, like, fucking, oh, look at the birds, and then like a bang, and obviously the fucking the police have like burst into the house, and I remember they were stuffing stuff into the Wayne's nappy and putting the Wayne into the pram. That's what I remember like vividly. And I wonder, it must have been drugs, mate. It must have been, and you know, no naming names. They were drug dealers. Like they were dealing and taking. Like that was the norm. Like the 3 or 4 guys that I remember that were the big smack dealers in Carlton were all heroin addicts. Yeah. So they were like using and sort of dealing at the same time. But this house, mate, the smell of pish, and you know, you think you've got it bad, and then you go back, like so bad that the guy that I was with one day played in the same football team, played for a football team called Carlton Victoria, and this was years later. I accidentally picked up his school shirt, and when I took it home, my mum bleached it.
Wow.
And then took it back round, and I remember my mum shouting at his mum.
Holy fuck.
That's how bad the clays were. My mum was like, I can't believe, like, basically it was like, what the fuck has happened to your shirt? It's stinking of shite, and there's blood on it and all. And I was like, I don't know. And then she's like, that's not your shirt. And I've picked up the wrong shirt. My mum fucking like bleached washed this shirt and took it back round, took me round, and was shouting at his mum at the front door, mate. So that's some of the shit that when I was young, mate, like stepping over people that had needles hanging out their arms, going up to mates' houses and stuff like that. I was cutting about. I mean, I was born in 83, so I was like, when that story I'm telling you, that was 1991.
Yeah.
Like pre-Tony Blair, like I think John Major, Margaret Thatcher, like Glasgow was a shithole, mate. Yeah. An absolute shithole. And we were getting into closes where there was genuinely people lying, ODing on the close steps. You know, I'm not being like that was a daily occurrence, not at all. But I definitely fucking seen it. Part. I know people that were the same age as me that died of heroin overdoses. Yeah. And my sister, who's 4 years older than me, just about 4 years older than me, she had a full generation of people that got wiped out in that scheme through the fucking terrible atrocity that was heroin in the late 80s, early 90s.
It's part of your life, mate. It's like, it's no, you're not saying it as like bragging. Why would you brag about that? It's heartbreaking. It's fucking terrible.
I was traumatised by shit like that, mate.
Nobody wants to see it. I'll tell you a story about heroin with me. I won't name the guy, but this is what, obviously heroin's terrifying, right? Everybody knows it's scary, but this is see, when I was an alcoholic, you'd think I'd probably take that. Then I heard this story and I'm like, nah, fuck that, man.
Right, okay.
So I know a couple of comedians that have took heroin, right? They've smoked it. And one guy, I will not name him because I love him, right, told me, about the process of smoking heroin. And I swear to God, man, see, just standing looking at this guy talk about smoking heroin, it was like somebody talking about being in love with somebody.
Right.
And it was like a prisoner, it was like an army guy going away to war, writing a love letter about his fucking lover.
Right.
I swear to God, mate, his eyes glazed over. He's talking about the process of smoking it. And I'm like, holy fuck. Even though he wasn't addicted, he was
Still
like,
an addict.
Still, I mean, talking about it, you're like, wow, man, that's scary. In my head, because everybody's took coke and eckies and all that, I'm like, I've never thought that about eckies or booze, or it seems like, I mean, what the fuck do I know? I've never took it, right? Coke and eckies and booze seems to get you physically addicted. I think smack gets your soul addicted.
Aye.
Like, it does something to your soul that I'm like, I would not fuck with that, man.
Well, if anything is genuinely claimed to be better than sex, you know what I mean? I've took a fair amount of coke and I've took a fair amount of eckies in my time, but I've never ever thought I would swap my life for this.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a very, very different thing, and it's an opioid. It's opium. You know, it's like
Yeah.
So mate, that scares the shit out of me.
I remember being a young man when I was depressed and stressed. I was taking Valium. I never took it often, but I started to take it to help me sleep. But when you start to abuse things, you realise it doesn't help you, and then it's like a fake sleep. It's not a real sleep. So a short story about Valium, right? I remember getting some off my friend, and I took it with a cup of tea in my bed. I went to bed fully clothed, I think. And
Okay.
I woke up the next day under the bed and I was completely naked. And I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, just didn't...
Did you retrace your steps?
I didn't know what happened.
Was it like The Hangover? Like the Glasgow version of The
No,
Hangover?
it was just under my bed, like curled up in a ball.
Right. Had you left your room or anything?
No.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to tell me that you'd been fucking out wandering about or something.
And
fuck's sake.
my
Man.
pal took us to a roll shop. We were getting rolls in the morning. And I remember being in the roll shop and I was wearing a tracky top and a pair of denims, and the tracky was tucked into the denims, and I was like looking at the menu and I was like, all right, can I get 2 quarter pounders with cheese and onion? It was like 9:30 in the morning and my mate was like, look at the fucking nick of you cunt. And I was like, but I'm taking them to help me sleep. And I don't know if it was in my room or his house, but he snatched them off me and he fucking crunched them up. But see, as he was crunching them up, I was like fucking Smeagol. I was like, no, I need it for sleep. So I'm glad that was a short experience of my life.
Mate, wow.
So if that's shitty £2 Valiums that are doing that, what the fuck is
Were they
Smack
street
gonna do?
valleys that you were taking as well, man?
I think it was street Valiums.
Oh, mate, they're killing cunts now, man.
Yeah.
People are
They were
overdosing on
bright
them.
blue.
Aye, blues.
Aye. So
They're devastating, mate. You see guys that have previously been heroin addicts, they'll fucking gub handfuls of Valium, you know what I mean, man? And
So when they say, oh, how come addicts can drink Yazoo and they're always talking about Yazoo, take a couple of Valiums and you'll understand. Because when I'm full of them, I'm like, oh, I want something creamy, man. You feel like, oh, creamy sauce, man. Give something with hundreds of sauce on it. You won't understand until you take a blue. You're like, oh, aye, Yazoo. Fucking gives a Yazoo, man. A banana flavoured Yazoo.
I was just about to say, see if it's the banana one, man. Get it in the bin. Fucking banana Yazoo, man. That's rank, man.
How long have we done?
Nearly an hour, mate.
Nearly an hour.
Aye. Didn't even need the notes.
I know, I've got hundreds of shit there. I mean, we won't go on too long, but it's weird talking about drugs and Valium and all that, mate. I've been back fasting. I'll let you know how long I've done. I've got a weird, odd buzz about me the day, man. I think it's about a fasting buzz and banana Yazoo.
Banana high.
Banana man. Where the fuck's my fasting app on this, man? I feel like a granda that's doing a podcast. No wonder I'm at my tits. 21 hours, 44 minutes and 16 seconds.
What time did you last eat?
I last ate at 17:47 last night.
Fuck.
Because I was gigging last night and I didn't want to eat too close to the gig. And then by the time I got up the road, I missed my window. But I ate enough. It's weird though. It's weird because it's your mind. I had 2 amazing meals last night with 2 protein bars, plenty of calories, but at certain points you're just sitting, you're like, why am I not eating? Nothing to do with hunger. Like, and plus I'm carrying a lot of weight right now, so when you're fasting, it's fucking easy, man. When you're carrying the chunk,
your body just starts eating itself.
Aye. So that's why I'm like euphoric cocaine high right now, because my titties are burning.
I'm fasting.
Aye, but I'll probably break the fast soon, mate. Fucking half free.
Aye, mate, I would do it. I wouldn't fast for too long, mate.
Yeah.
I fast every day, mate. I do at least 16 hours. That's at least. Sometimes I go 48. Sometimes I've went 72 and pushed it. But I don't know. The benefits for me are like mental clarity. So that you're talking about, you feel kind of like sharp. You feel like really aware. And also, it's a good way to manage your weight. I mean, I've had people being like, intermittent fasting's an eating disorder and stuff like that. I'm like, really? You really want to see an eating disorder? I'll show you a fucking eating disorder. I don't see it like that at all. It's just, I mean, I've not had a cold or a flu in like 4 years.
Yeah.
And I've been fasting for 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's something about your immunity. I know that I read something on building immunity resistance, like so that your immune system's really strong. And that would really sort of like speak to me in a way, because my missus will drop down with a cold and I'll feel lethargic. And then a couple of days later, I feel fine. And she's always like, that's you getting a cold. And I think that there's a load of benefits, mate, in it, and the weight will drop off you as well, man. I'm sure you're finding that you're pissing like a racehorse.
Yes, pissing like a racehorse. Going to the toilet better as well. Number 2s.
One big shite a day, man.
Yep. But I tell you another thing, I've done it many times, right? See, the first time I did it, I lost 4 stone. And then the second time I done it, it maintained a weight. But see, over Christmas, I put a lot of weight on over Christmas, right? And I couldn't fit into my jacket. And I put my jacket on today and I was like, now don't get me wrong, it's still a bit neat, but I'm like, it fits me. And I'm like, I've only been doing it for a week. And don't get me wrong, I've not been eating pure clean. I've not been to the gym. I've been too busy to go to the gym. That's just fasting. I'm like, oh, my clothes are feeling a bit better. But it's addictive. It makes you appreciate food more. And it's easy.
Should try OMAD.
1 meal a day.
And try and get your maintenance calories, whatever it is, what you like 2,000 calories or something like that, mate.
So I'm using my prep meals, which is like 480 calories a meal. I could eat 2 of them as my 1 meal.
Easy? 800 calories?
It is a fucking shift to eat 1 meal, by the way. See, because you think like a cheese pizza is 1,000 calories and it's shite. There's nothing on it. A plain cheese pizza. These meals, which is like nearly 500 calories, that's fucking nothing, man.
Do you want me to tell you what I had last night? I do OMAD. Sometimes
1 meal?
I had 1 meal last night. It was across an array of foods, but my maintenance cam's 6'5" and 100 kilos, right?
Wait a minute. All right, sorry.
So I'm 6'5", 100 kilos, so my maintenance calories are like 3,500 calories. So that's good, you know. I can eat food like that. Last night I had a chicken Caesar salad with 4 eggs, 2 slices of black pudding, 2 scoops tuna mayo with onion and hot sauce on the side, and then I had a bowl of raisins, like yogurt covered raisins, like a wee sort of bowl of them with gluten-free Pringles, like a half tub of gluten-free Pringles, and that was like 3,500 calories. But I ate that in one sitting, mate, and I could have kept eating. I can eat, man. I should do competitive eating, I think.
Amazing.
I'm a bottomless fucking pit.
Do you know
the size of that meal was like, and you
massive.
It went across the full table, and I just sat and ate it in one go.
See, I have done 1 meal a day. I did it at the first lockdown, right? But I don't know if it was because, see, during the lockdown, you're just living a lockdown life. There's nothing else to do. I became totally obsessed with that. Like, just eating 1 meal a day for me was a bit boring. I'd done it and I managed it. But I'm like, no, man, I love cups of tea and all that.
You could have a cup of tea.
Do you still drink tea?
No, I don't, but you could fucking do that, man.
Aye.
Like a spot of milk and whatever, a sweetener.
Aye, because last night I had a pint of soda water at the gig with cranberry in it, and my fucking mentally ill brain was like, you're breaking a fast.
No, man, don't be doing that.
Stupid.
There's like levels to it. Like, you're allowed to have coffee. There's calories in coffee.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have black tea. I would, if somebody was to say, oh, having what would constitute like a spot of milk and your tea's breaking your fast, I'd be like, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
That's too far. Now you're in an eating disorder. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But don't just limit. You know, like sometimes I'll have a coconut milk latte, like a small coconut milk latte, which is genuinely get like 45 calories in it, mate.
Yeah.
That is not breaking a fast. It's just not doing it. It's like tiny amounts of calories. You know what I mean?
Do you know what you're going to eat tonight?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Did that sound good? That meal?
Yeah.
It was fucking banging, mate. My missus makes a great salad.
You like tuna, don't you?
I love tuna. I love eggs. I love chicken. I love black pudding. I love bacon. It's not all that I love, but that's like the staple in my fucking diet. Salmon. It's not that healthy. It's not clean. Like, I'm having chicken Caesar salad. There's hundreds of salad dressing on there.
And hot sauce and all that. What about that hot sauce that you've got, the spicy hot sauce?
Holy shit, mate. Oh my God.
Mate, I'm getting
So
horny,
good.
man.
So good. I mean, it literally took the mouth clean off me. I had my lips were numb for about 4 hours after I had it, and I had a cap full of it.
Oh my God.
And a bowl of ramen that was the size, it was like the bowls are like that size. So that was what I had the night before. I had steak ramen with long stem broccoli, 2 boiled eggs. That was like my one meal that I had. And then I had a dessert, which was a gluten-free something, and because I eat gluten-free.
Right, okay.
Let's wrap up so that you can break your fast, mate.
I actually forget I was doing a podcast there, man, talking about food. Look, guys, thank you so much for the support. I just want to give a big shout out to Merchant City Medical again. I'm telling you, don't hold back. If you want something done, get it done. Everybody gets it done. It's 2022. Don't give a fuck what anybody says. Pay a wee deposit and pay it up, and you'll have sexy hair like me. I get my fucking eyebrows threaded and everything. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm a skinny ride and a day hunters are shagging. Sometimes I'm fat as fuck. You've got to eat. So if you enjoy my podcast, please like and share. It's the only way we can keep doing this. And if you like my stuff, you can donate a coffee through the coffee app. You can follow me on Twitter, add me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. You can find me. Put Darren Connell into the Apple Podcasts and you'll find Straight White Whale. Your support is appreciated. Thank you very much. Whoopi Goldberg, Mel Gibson, God bless. See you next week. Ghost dab.